Okay, so SA7. Let's see, we have a ball of radius 10. So that's a solid ball of radius 10. And T is the portion of that ball that's outside of the solid cylinder of radius 6. Okay, so let's draw a picture. There's our ball. Its radius is 10, which means that this distance here is 10. And we're going to take now a cylinder that cuts through that has radius 6, which means it's going to sort of, I don't know, something about like maybe that. We're going to bore a hole, basically, through that cylinder. And I claim you get kind of a bead, right? A bead with a hole through it. So I'm going to try to draw this, but this is going to be a failure. Kind of like that. Does that make sense? Sort of see it's kind of a bead. And okay, so there's our T. So that's our solid. T is the solid, here. So let's talk about its boundary. Well, so the boundary is a surface. It's actually sort of two surfaces together. On the one hand, you have this is part of the boundary. It's this, what you might call the temperate zone of the surface. Like it's the polar ice cap has been removed, and the southern polar ice cap has been removed. Just the temperate zone of the surface, right? Now, T is that solid. Orientations are always away from the solid, and so that means that the orientation is outward like that. But T has another bit of surface, of boundary, that is, and namely the inside, where I bored out, right? So in other words, if you look in the inner part there, there's this sort of borehole. Oops. And away from the solid there actually means it points inside. So the other piece, so this is a U for union, the other piece of the boundary of T is this bit of cylinder oriented inward. Does that make sense? I forgot, you were the one that asked me that question? Okay. So it's these two together that make up the boundary of T.
How the answer become different if it's, say, sphere, not the...
Well, yeah. So now that's a totally different question. I mean, if we were talking about the sphere, then it's just the surface of this original thing, and so all you'd be left with is just this would be the surface that was left. Now that's one of these other questions, right?
Yeah.
So let me pause on that, and let's make sure everyone's done with number 7 first. Is everybody okay with 7? Okay. And if it's okay with you, I'll go back and do 5 separately.
Right.
Okay. Everybody good? Okay. Let me pause it, and I'll go and do 5.